Did you know? There's a seemingly harmless breakfast that's quietly damaging the hearts of millions of people over 60 every single day. And there are heart surgeons who live to 99, even 104, not because of luck, but because of the right choices they made every morning. In today's video, you'll discover 3 incredibly simple habits that can actually add years to your life. Habits inspired by living legends in medicine, Dr. Michael DeBakey, Dr. Ellsworth, Wareham, and Dr. Leo Bokeria. Stick with us until the end, and you'll learn how to start each day not just feeling healthier, but actively fighting off stroke and heart disease before they even have a chance to strike. Imagine waking up while everything around you is still quiet. The sky outside your window is just beginning to lighten. No traffic, no rush, just the lonely call of a bird signaling that a new day is quietly approaching. In that moment, you're not just waking up, you're rebooting your life. This was the lifelong habit of Dr. Leo Bokeria, one of the greatest heart specialists the world has ever known. He called it his way of living 2 days in one. From a young age, Bokeria trained himself to rise around 6 a.m. not to get more done, but to live more deeply. He believed the early morning was the purest time of day, when the mind is clear and the body is ready to absorb everything good. And if you stick to this habit long enough, you begin to feel like you're gaining an extra day within each day, a sacred window of time that most people lose without even knowing it. But he also gave a warning: don't chase early mornings blindly if you aren't sleeping well. Waking up early only helps if you've had true, deep sleep, ideally from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Especially for people over 60, sleep isn't just rest, it's the time your body heals, releases pressure from blood vessels, and restores your heart. So if you want to start your mornings healthier and stronger, don't start with an alarm clock. Start with quality sleep. But here's the surprising part. The very first thing Dr. Bokeria did when he opened his eyes each morning was something so simple, yet so powerful. And if you're skipping it, your heart may be paying the price silently every single day. You open your eyes in the morning. Before your feet even hit the floor, your hand reaches instinctively for that first cup of coffee. The smell rich and comforting, the taste slightly bitter, wonderfully awakening. For many, it's the most peaceful moment of the day. But according to Dr. Leo Bokeria, this might also be the moment your heart is most vulnerable. He warned that drinking coffee on an empty stomach right after waking up can quietly damage your body in ways most people never suspect. With no food to buffer it, the acid in your stomach spikes sharply, irritating the lining, potentially leading to inflammation or ulcers. But the danger doesn't stop there. This sudden stimulation also triggers a spike in heart rate and blood pressure. And for someone over 60 whose blood vessels may already be fragile, that spike can be enough to trigger a heart attack or stroke. So what did Bokeria do instead? He reached for something much gentler and far more powerful: a warm glass of water. No sugar, no lemon, no fancy additives. Just plain, warm water set beside his bed the night before. Why? Because water helps the body wake up naturally. It gently thins the blood, supports circulation, wakes up the digestive system, and most importantly eases the heart into action during those first fragile minutes of the day. To Bokeria, drinking water in the morning wasn't just a habit, it was a form of gratitude. A small way of honoring the body for carrying him through the night. And when done consistently, this tiny act creates something extraordinary. Less fatigue in the morning, a clearer mind, and a calmer, more steady heartbeat. But Bokeria's heart-protecting routine didn't end there. Because right after finishing his warm water, he did something so simple, so easily forgotten in modern life. And yet, it created a deep, lasting shift in both his body and mind. After finishing his warm glass of water, Dr. Leo Bokeria didn't rush into emails. He didn't grab a quick bite or dive into his to-do list. Instead, he moved, just a little. A few minutes of gentle morning movement. A habit so simple, yet so powerful, it became the foundation of his heart health. No machines, no yoga mats, just a few steps, a quiet space, and a bit of consistency. He would start by rolling his neck, lifting and lowering his arms, stretching side to side, stepping in place. Each motion was done slowly, mindfully, like saying good morning to every part of his body. To Bokeria, this wasn't exercise, it was waking up the cells, encouraging blood to flow more freely, loosening stiff joints, stabilizing the heartbeat, and bringing fresh oxygen to the brain. Just 5 minutes each morning, but when done consistently, the heart responds with resilience you didn't think possible. And then, after moving his body, he did something most people haven't done in years. Something quiet, unexpected, and deeply healing. He stood in front of the mirror and smiled at himself. Not out of vanity, not for show, but because he understood something vital. Even a self-created smile can trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, releasing feel-good chemicals like serotonin and dopamine, soothing the heart, calming the nerves, and awakening a gentle sense of optimism. Bokeria called it his free dose of emotional medicine, a smile that science now confirms can lower stress, reduce blood pressure, and strengthen immunity, especially in older adults. So don't underestimate the power of a mirror smile. It's not silly, it's smart, because that tiny smile doesn't just make you feel better. It sets the tone for your entire day, and only then. After his body was moving, his heart was calm, and his spirit was lifted. Did Bokeria sit down for breakfast? But it wasn't just any breakfast. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't random. To him, it was a golden dose of heart-focused nutrition. Only after gentle movement and a quiet smile in the mirror did Dr. Leo Bokeria move on to the next sacred part of his morning, breakfast. But for him, this wasn't just about energy. It was a ritual to nourish the heart. He never skipped breakfast. To Bokeria, a balanced morning meal was the key to stabilizing blood sugar, protecting blood vessels, and keeping the heartbeat steady throughout the day. He often began with a warm bowl of soft-cooked oats, rich in soluble fiber, known to reduce LDL bad cholesterol and support healthy arteries. Next came a small amount of high-quality butter, not the kind made from processed vegetable oils, but real butter, used in moderation to provide healthy fats that support heart and brain function. He also included 1 egg soft-boiled or steamed, believing that early morning protein helped curb cravings, promote satiety, and strengthen cardiovascular health. And always fresh fruit, usually a banana, an apple, or a handful of berries. Nature's vitamins, full of antioxidants to fight inflammation, boost immunity, and slow the cellular aging process. These fruits also gently support digestion, something especially important as we grow older. Everything was prepared with care, no rush, no excess salt, no white bread, no sugary cereals, and most importantly, no coffee. Bokeria believed, if breakfast is the foundation of your day, that foundation must be strong. A well-composed meal could literally reset your body's internal rhythm. More importantly, eating a proper breakfast meant his heart didn't have to struggle to correct sudden spikes or crash in blood sugar or pressure, the kind that silently damage fragile arteries over time. But even with clean, heart-friendly food, Bokeria always emphasized one key truth: balance matters. Too much, whether it's fiber, fat, or protein, can strain digestion and the heart. That's why he chose moderation, eating with awareness, listening carefully to how his body responded. But here's the surprising twist. There was one sweet food he never completely gave up. In fact, he believed that when used properly it could even help heal the heart. What was it? Even as one of the most respected heart surgeons in the world, Dr. Leo Bokeria never advocated for extreme diets or obsessive calorie counting. To him, health didn't come from restriction, it came from balance. True well-being, he believed, wasn't about pushing the body with strict rules, but about listening to it, knowing what it needs, what's enough, and when to stop. In his younger years, he experimented with all kinds of rigid diets, cutting out hard-to-digest foods, avoiding salt and sugar, even limiting coarse fiber. But over time, he discovered something essential. What matters most is what you can sustain for life, so he simplified his eating style. He reduced white starches, avoided processed sugars, and favored easy-to-digest proteins: lean meats, steamed fish, fresh cheese, vegetables, and fruit. He preferred boiling, steaming, or baking over frying. And he always practiced one golden rule: never eat until you're stuffed. But here's what surprised many people: he still ate chocolate. Not sweet milk chocolate, but pure dark chocolate with 90% cocoa. He found that just a few small pieces a day could help lower blood pressure, improve circulation, and offer powerful antioxidants to support the heart. For Bokeria, this was his way of treating the heart without harming it. He once said, Absolute restriction often leads to tension, and tension is the heart's worst enemy. And on days when he craved something sweeter, he reached for a small spoon of raw honey, not stirred into tea, not spread on toast, just taken straight. To preserve its minerals, enzymes, and natural antibacterial properties. To him, honey wasn't just a sweetener, it was medicine. Something that boosted the immune system and helped calm the nerves. Supporting deeper, more restful sleep, it was this flexible yet disciplined approach that kept Bokeria's heart healthy well into his 90s. He didn't chase perfection, he remained loyal to balance. And as it turns out, he wasn't alone. Another legendary heart doctor, Dr. Michael DeBakey, followed his own set of surprising principles, ones that helped him live to the remarkable age of 99. If Leo Bokeria was the embodiment of balance and elegance, then Michael DeBakey was the face of unwavering discipline, a man whose extraordinary vitality came from a life of relentless self-mastery. Known as the father of dozens of modern heart surgery techniques, DeBakey didn't just extend the lives of millions. He extended his own, through a set of remarkably simple yet fiercely consistent principles. He woke up at 4 a.m. every single day for decades, no alarm clock, no complaints. To him, the early morning was sacred, a golden hour to care for the body and sharpen the mind before the world began to stir. His morning workout, no gym required, just a short routine, push-ups, sit-ups, stretches. A minimum of 15 reps each, just enough to get the heart pumping, the blood flowing, and the body fully awake. And then, he walked to the hospital, rain or shine, winter or summer. Breakfast was always simple, whole grain cereal and a cup of black tea. No coffee, no butter, no fatty meats, two things he openly called enemies of the arteries. To DeBakey, frying food was an act of violence against the heart. He chose to steam, bake, or stew, not to diet, but as a way to honor the body. But more important than food or exercise, DeBakey constantly emphasized one thing above all. The real enemy of the heart isn't cholesterol, it's stress. And to calm his heart, he didn't reach for whiskey or wine. He completely avoided alcohol, believing that even a few strong drinks could destabilize heart rhythms, spike blood pressure, and weaken the arteries. Instead, he turned to the quiet joys of life. Watching comedy, walking under trees, sitting by the river, listening to classical music, reading books. To him, a gentle laugh was the finest medicine for stress, and most of all, he never stopped working. Even in his 80s, he continued to write, teach, and share his knowledge, as if his heart stayed strong simply because it still had a purpose. DeBakey believed, old age truly begins the moment you stop contributing. As long as you feel useful, needed, your heart still has a reason to beat. And perhaps his most powerful quote of all: "I did everything so that my heart wouldn't suffer. But is there another way to protect the heart? One that's softer, simpler, yet just as effective?" The answer lies in the life of a third legend. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, a man who followed a very different path, and still lived to be over 100 years old. Still with us, wonderful, because what's coming next may just surprise you the most. You're about to discover a very different kind of secret. From a doctor who lived to be 104 years old, without taking supplements, without eating meat, and with virtually no heart disease throughout his life, he chose a path that many once considered extreme. And yet it brought him clarity, stamina, and youthful energy all the way to his final years. In just a few minutes, you'll find out exactly what he ate, what he drank, and why millions around the world are now following his lead to live longer, healthier, and more peacefully. If Michael DeBakey represented iron discipline, then Ellsworth Wareham was living proof of the power of simplicity and inner cleansing. In his meals, his sleep, and even in how he viewed life itself. A renowned heart surgeon who lived to be 104 years old, Wareham astonished the world not just with his age, but with his sharp mind, flexible body, and his calm, joyful spirit right up to his final years. Unlike many of his colleagues, Wareham adopted a plant-based lifestyle at the age of 50. No red meat, no cow's milk, no daily eggs. He ate just 2 meals a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and nothing after 4 p.m. His mornings began with a large bowl of whole grain cereal soaked in soy milk, accompanied by fresh fruit, bananas, strawberries, oranges, and a small handful of nuts, walnuts, almonds, and sometimes lightly roasted peanuts. Dinner was even simpler: raw vegetables, boiled beans, whole grain bread with nut butter. And always a serving of healthy fats from seeds or nuts. And when it came to drinks, only water and fresh orange juice. No tea, no coffee, no soda. He followed a curious little rule that worked wonders. If I see a faucet, I drink from it. To him, water wasn't just refreshing. It supported circulation, boosted kidney function, kept the skin healthy, and perhaps most importantly soothed the heart. He drank 6 to 8 glasses a day, mostly in the morning, to stay consistent and avoid forgetting while busy. Wareham once said, "I don't avoid meat for moral reasons. I avoid it because of science." As a surgeon, he had seen with his own eyes what meat-heavy diets did to arteries. Plaque buildup, calcification, tissue decay. In contrast, the arteries of long-term vegetarians were soft, clear, and healthy, with far fewer heart attacks. He believed that just 3 months of dietary change could leave you feeling lighter, stronger, and mentally clearer. And here's what's remarkable. Even in his late 90s, he drove himself, gardened daily, had no joint pain, and slept deeply every night. When asked about his secret, he simply smiled and said, "I carry no burdens in my heart. I eat clean, live slowly, and stay curious about the world." And if you're thinking, "It's too late for me to change," remember this: Wareham made his shift after 50. So no, it's not too late. It's never too late to be gentler with your heart. But in the end, what truly united all 3 of these remarkable doctors wasn't just what they ate. It was one simple, powerful truth: they all kept moving, always. When we look back at the lives of these 3 legends in heart medicine, Bokeria, DeBakey, and Wareham, we don't find miracles. They didn't rely on expensive supplements. They didn't chase trendy diets. They simply lived right, in tune with their body's natural rhythm, in harmony with what the heart truly needs. And from their long, purposeful lives, we can draw 7 core principles for a healthier heart and a longer life. First, wake up early gently, but only after you've had enough sleep. Early rising isn't about doing more, it's about living more deeply. Second, start your day with warm water, not coffee. It's simple, easy, and one of the best gifts you can give your blood vessels and digestion. Third, move your body just 5 minutes in the morning. A few stretches or steps can awaken your entire system and help your heart beat steadily and strong. Fourth, smile at yourself in the mirror. Even a fake smile can lift your mood, calm your nerves, and create a ripple of positivity through your body. Fifth, eat a real breakfast, not just to fill your stomach, but to nourish your heart. Oats, eggs, fresh fruit, simple foods with powerful impact. Sixth, practice moderation and listen to your body. You don't have to go fully plant-based, but reduce red meat, refined sugar, and processed foods. And when you crave something sweet, choose dark chocolate or a spoonful of raw honey. And finally, the most important one: don't stay still too long. Whether it's a 10-minute walk, tending your garden, or just rolling your shoulders, as long as you keep moving, you keep reminding your heart you're still alive. This is how they lived. Steadily, mindfully, with purpose. And you can too. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just pick one small habit, practice it each morning, and let time and your heart do the rest. If today's video resonated with you, take just a second to click like. It lets the YouTube algorithm know this is content worth sharing. And if you'd like to keep receiving practical, heartfelt, and inspiring health tips like this every week, hit that subscribe button now. It's completely free, but it might just bring lasting value to your health and longevity. Before you go, leave a comment below. Which habit will you start with? Waking up earlier, drinking warm water, or having a more thoughtful breakfast? I read every comment, and I would truly love to hear your story. Wishing you a day filled with strength, peace, and a heart that beats with calm and joy.